I built this incredible shed cabin studio in just 5 days and saved over £24,000. I'll show you exactly how I did it, but there's one really big twist. I used unconventional building materials which I was able to get free. Stay tuned, let me show you how I did this.
Here you have it. You can see I've built a full outbuilding, a really big outbuilding, all using doors. If you're still using pallets, that's so last century. Forget about pallets. The next best material. It's more contemporary, it's insulated, it's easier to handle, they're bigger pieces. This is my Hodor cabin. Let me show you the full process. You may be thinking, how difficult is it to get hold of a lot of doors? Well, luckily I had a friend who was getting a lot of upgrades to houses he owns, and he needed to change the doors to fire doors. So I had a shed load of doors that I needed to decide what to do with. It came to me, I've got a space, I'm gonna make a night building. As you can see, here is the cabin and it works very well. Many years ago I made a small version of this in my backyard and it withstood the test of time. It's probably still there. That's talking about 20 years ago. So I thought, let me use that same concept and make a bigger one for storage of all my gardening stuff. I haven't decided what I'm doing inside yet. Let me know what you think. I've had loads of references on the forum I put it out on, and I'm getting regular updates of the build. A lot of people have been skeptical about how solid it is, but don't worry, I'm going to keep you updated on how the progress happens. It's withstood a number of storms. We're currently in a storm right now as well in the UK, and it's doing perfectly fine. You may be thinking, how difficult is it to get hold of a lot of doors?
Today I'm taking you through a number of the steps that I took, and this is the nice little time lapse of the entire process. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea or your favorite drink and watch me graft for 5 days sorting out this Hodor shed heaven studio. This won't be for everyone. Obviously I had a friend who bought a lot of houses where he had doors available, so I did a little bit of investigating to see how you could take advantage of this, because obviously not everybody's gonna have a friend who's got lots of houses that need doors removing and he's putting new doors in. So what I thought was, there's a couple of options. If you look online, he did say he was going to advertise on Facebook to say free doors and someone come and collect them. So an alternative, if you're thinking about doing something similar, check out on Facebook for free doors, because there are a lot of renovations taking place. You may have to stockpile them for a while and it'll be foreshadow your plan, but that's an alternative option for you. So I prepared the ground, leveled off the ground. When I got the doors, obviously there will be different measurements, so consider laying them out if you've got enough space to see where you want the setup and how many doors you will need. In total, I used something like over 85 doors, close to 100 doors. The base alone took 32 doors, and that was 4 wide and 8 long, so 4 rows of 8, that's 32. And then obviously you've got the front 8, you've got the back 8, you've got the 2 sides. I had extra, I wanted it to have a bit of a tilt on this, so I had those extras as well. But yeah, that's something to keep an eye on in terms of doors themselves. And once the doors have been laid out, I made sure I had the most solid doors on the ground. And this is going to be interesting. You want to make sure you've got a level surface. Foundation wise, I already had a concrete base in the top corner, and most of here was already rubble and stones. So you'll notice now I'm using a damp proof membrane, which is a large black plastic sheet, just to stop moisture traveling from the ground up into the wood. This is a temporary cabin. I'm using it as storage for now. I haven't decided what I want to actually do with it. It's just the case that this is the option available to me, so I'm making this now. And I tacked on this plastic on the side so I can actually have a tight seal. Now what we're doing here is I've used the plastic on the ground, then I've got the additional doors which I want to use as my side panels, and I'm slowly positioning them where I want them. So this is going to be something you want to think about. I made a friend. You'll notice I put out a little bit of water, and a crow started visiting me. You may have seen it in the time lapse he came, but I regularly made sure I had clean water in a dish on the side, and they kept coming back. So we need to think of a name for the crow. Shall we call him Hodor? The crow can be Hodor, or give me a better alternative in the comments. So the doors, you'll notice this is all like fairly quick. Once the doors start going up, you basically just start putting them up. There's no long-winded way of doing this. I'm tacking each door to the previous door with a button along the middle, the top and the bottom, and there will be additional supports with timber as well, which you will see coming up. So the doors started flying up basically. I think we're still in day one at the moment, so I started nice and early. I got the base doors down, got the plastic down, leveled it off, and I'm starting to put all the doors up. So a lot of this was very easy as it went up. I think it was split as base 1 day, sides 2 days. So you see this is the second day now. I tried to make like a video each morning before I started so you could see the progress. So from before, we were able to put the base down, the doors, we were able to put the side doors down. I made sure to pick out the best doors for the sides and the front so you could see that it's all coherent. So when you walk up to the cabin, you won't know which door to enter from because they all look the same. I might even put handles on the doors to make it look even more confusing. So you'll see along the middle I've put a piece of timber, along the top I put a timber, and at the bottom I put a timber. That's what's holding all the doors together quite solidly. So I've nailed onto each of the doors. I've put a temporary hold on the top just to keep each of the walls up, because obviously it's a windy day and there's a lot of rain. You'll see when I came through, I put a sheet down on the floor. I had to mop up as well. So with the doors, they're not all consistent sizes, so I had to do a bit of jiggery pokery for the last few doors because the gap wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I actually doubled up on doors, which gave it a little bit more rigidity and made it nicer for me for the overall process. So I went through and added extra screws to the doors just to keep them upright until my membrane, my timber member comes in. So I've got timbers that I had ordered up, and you'll see it was a little bit misty and rainy on the day, so there's quite a lot of rain on the inside. And I did make sure to put regular water in the pot here, the dish, and you'll see it got used to me. The crow kept coming, so do let me know what you think we should name him. He can be our pet. So look, he kind of visits us as we're working. He didn't get scared with all the banging and stuff. He got used to me. And because it was a little bit rainy, you'll see I'm mopping up some of the water here, and they did quite well. I mean, overall they're painted with special waterproof paint, the outdoor like doors as well, so they do well. So I mopped up, cleaned up, had a look at our friendly resident pet crow drinking up some fluids, and he brings bread and dips it in the water and softens it and then eats it. It's like very interesting to watch. But yeah, anyway, back to work. So this is going to be like a upschool version of basically the best cabin you've ever built. Look at that shed next door. That's like a small 8x4x8 shed, and we're absolutely massive in comparison. So the timber came on day 2 midday, so I was basically waiting for the timber to come. Had to get it to the back of the garden because I've got a really long garden which I'm splitting into multiple sections. So stay tuned, because I am actually building a basketball court in the middle of the garden as well, because I've got the space in the grass. So that's be like a future episode that you'll be interested to keep an eye on. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe so you get future notifications of my building projects. Let's get back into our door heaven shed build right here. So you can see I've got a dry fit of the timbers. You can see here I'm raising the frame. I want the front to be slightly higher than the back so the rain can actually go towards a water system, so I can collect the rainwater. So I put through the timber membranes all the way around the internal building structure. I didn't want them showing on the outside, which is why I made it in this way. I built the doors up and used extra doors cut down to fill the gaps. You'll see that happening right here, and I had extra doors which I was actually adjusting down to fill the front and the sides. And each of the roof timber beams have been placed ready for my delivery of corrugated metal sheets, which should be coming today. So hopefully we get a lot of this done in the second day of the build, and it's doing quite well. I had the deliveries come through quite quickly using my regular suppliers for building supplies, and they did quite well. I think all the wood in total cost me something like £120. There's a lot of timber I got here, so that was probably the only cost associated with the building, as well as the roof sheets. I've got five roof metal sheets. I think they were £20 a pop, so under 200 £450 we're looking at there, with all the screws and all the stuff, obviously little bits and bobs. I will do a full breakdown in a separate video if you want to see that, but there are some things that you will need to buy inevitably just to make the roof easy to maintain and waterproof. That was something I thought about. So obviously the wood structure would be set with the metal corrugated sheets. So what those will do is they will act as a little bit of weight on the roof, which will lock everything together. The timber is going to be put in place, which is hammered on each side with large structural nails, and that gives us a good structure to the building. And I can confirm that it's still up, so you know, multiple storms, I think it's something like 6 storms so far this year we've had in the UK, and it's withheld those storms nicely. I will do regular updates so you can see how it performs over the long term, because like I mentioned at the start of the video, there was some skepticism.
So the first metal sheet has been installed. There is 1 meter. I've notched in there, got a beam, got some extra brackets, I've got double nails, all the corners sheer strength, and it's going to have a lean to the back.
That lean to the back will be the rainwater collecting system. So once the first one went up, the rest of them were fairly straightforward. These are big long sheets. I think there's something like 12 foot long and 1 meter wide, so they were good single sheets that were from the front to the back. I wanted a little bit of overhang on the front so the rain water doesn't hit the front of the doors, and it did a really good job. Overall it was a nice day, and I was able to get a number of these sheets up on day 2. I'll show you a quick view of the top of the shed and how I screwed in the actual metal corrugated sheets. So the shed structure was strong enough because I put supports in between noggins, between the beams, to give us that. So I got straight on top of the roof with my drill and the correct screws for the roof. You want to get the right types of screws. I drilled a hole first. They were self-tapping screws, but they were very difficult to get through these sheets because the sheets are like corrugated metal and they're like slightly thicker than normal. So the self-drilling screws didn't go through very well. I did a pilot hole with a drill bit, and then I used the screws with like DPME washers, you know, that rubber stuff you have. But these are available in Screwfix and stuff. I might put a description link. I don't know, if you're ever doing this project, let me know in the comments and I'll put like a full list of stuff I used. But yeah, I was able to screw them. There was different types of screws. You had the longer ones that went into the beam, and each sheet was secured to each itself with like self-tapping screws, which were joining screws. So again, here you can see the process of drilling through the metal. Even with the drill bit, it took quite a little bit of drilling, and then you get the screw itself and then use the bolt. It's like a bolt screw, and it screws in and holds the 2 sheets together here. So overall I found this fairly straightforward and easy. The roof process I was able to do over 2 days, so I did it like slowly because it was very hot. If you remember how hot in 2025 the summer was, we had like the 2 heat waves. I don't know what's going on in the weather systems so far. The ozone layers were doing something, but we've had storms. We've had 6 storms so far. We've had heat waves. Everything's like unpredictable. But yeah, this is the second day where I did the first 2 sheets and then left it in the heat of the sun, and then I did the second day. Well, we're on day 3 now. So day 1 we got all the doors up. Day 2 and day 3 is me getting the roof up over 2 multiple days, and that was a nice straightforward process. It's just time consuming and finicky because I had to cut noggins out for each of the metal sheets to give them extra support. Had to get them positioned in the right way so the rain falls backwards, and the joins. So yeah, it's just a process that you want to get done. You can see here now, that's the last sheet going in, and this was day 2. So the weather was being unpredictable and it was very windy, so I didn't want to do this on a windy day because the metal sheets would fly around all over the place. But I found it to be a nice option. Obviously there may be condensation that we need to worry about for metal sheets, and that's something I have planned for because I have insulation coming further up in the episodes. I went around the outside, kind of securing everything on the outside of the noggins and making sure that there's no gaps, and we're on day 3 at the moment of the build. We've got 2 days left, which is just going to be the little finishing touches and moving around the building. So let's have a quick look around the process and where we're at so far. So this was a quick look at day 4. What's happened here is there's been 4, well, I've taken a day off because it's very windy, but I'm counting 4 days of actual building work. So this is the roof's on, it's secure. There's a couple of gaps around the outside which I need to secure down. I've got some insulation that I've got to put in, which I'll put in a separate episode, but the main structure has been set up. At the moment I'm using it as storage when it's set up for the stuff in the garden, like the lawnmower, the trimmer, extra bits of wood and stuff to keep them out of the rain. So at some point I'm going to decide what I want to do with the inside of it, but the main shell has been built. I've put down some laminate flooring just to give me extra options for the floor being extra solid, and I've multi-layered those up. You can see here there's loads of different colors here, but I don't mind depending on what I decide to do in the end. So how is this looking at the moment? The insulation has been brought on site and I'm going to be keeping that inside. I might put it under the roof, which is going to be the option. But on day 4 I actually got all the guttering in and sorted for the rain, because obviously I want the rainwater to be collected, and that all goes nicely into some rain barrel water collecting systems, which keeps me water for my garden, self-sufficient water options.
The best thing is I've managed to fill up 3 barrels of water from the roof. So I collect all the water from the roof. Here's a quick sneak peek behind it. Still a little bit of space further along.
Let's have a quick summary of what we think of the building and what we could improve.
As you can see, I've finished my large cabin. There's still little bits I need to complete on there. I still need to tidy it up. I'm storing a lot of extra stuff from the garden in here. It's literally massive inside and I haven't decided what I want to do with it. It's been like 4 months that I've left it in this state. After I built it, because I wasn't sure, I had a lot of stuff to do in the garden. If you're following along on the series, I'm actually doing my garden out because I'm doing it to a homesteading location. I did paving, I did beds, garden beds, I did composting, all that stuff. So if you're into the lifestyle of looking after yourself, then you might be interested to check out the series. Let's have a quick look around the inside and the detailed view of what it looks like at the moment. And you'll notice the internal structure. I've got like beams supporting everything, and the roof is solid as well. It's got a metal warehouse roof, and I'm thinking of putting that insulation in the bottom. A bit noisy. I'm gonna close up that gap. I left that on purpose. I wanted some air circulation. So far, so good. You're probably not getting the scale of this on camera, but it is actually ginormous. You'll notice it's 8 doors long and 4 doors wide. You can do the maths on that and let me know what the measurements are. Our average door is 32 inches, and if you'd make a nice studio, if I was to do it all out, which I'm doing soon, I've put wood down on the floor. What would I do differently? I think I did really well with this. I maybe would have done a different base because I used doors for the base. I was thinking of making the roof doors as well. That wouldn't be very weather effective, so I've used metal sheets, which are like the ones you use in warehouses, and that's worked very well. It's very sturdy, it's got an internal frame, so it's going to be here for many years to come. So stay tuned and I'll give you regular updates as what I decide to do inside, because at the moment it's just housing extra stuff. I might give you a little tour inside, and a lot of people were skeptical about how well it will hold up, but you know what, it's gone through a few UK storms and it's still here, and I'm doing regular updates, so you'll see that it's an option that can be very good. I'm using it to store a lot of my extra gardening stuff. If you're following along in the series, I've bought a small city house and I'm doing it out, and I'm setting up a homesteading location here. Had a bit of barren land, why not knock up a cabin? Let me know in the comments, what would you have done differently? Is there something you would have changed about this build? Is this a good idea? Should I have stuck with pallets? I'm hoping you found this interesting. You know what, I did another concept build just over there in the garden. Here's another video about that. Check that out. You'll enjoy that if you enjoyed this.